DL Gaming Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm bootleg PlayStation 2.
I'm Thelma, the deer.
Yo soy el matador, luchador, Ender's Logic. Aquí para matar los inútiles. Yep, and here we are. We're all in costume except for Bobby.
I'm wearing a costume. It's just not that creative.
It's a T-shirt.
It's a T-shirt, but my shoes match. So,
He's a white guy in a t-shirt.
What's that shirt?
That's what he is for Halloween.
This shirt is, I bought this many, many years ago from the Pirate Bay. Yeah, if anyone remembers that old site. It is a cassette and crossbones, and that looks like a skull. Yeah,
So
I wear it. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm a pirate.
Bobby is a DJ.
But,
DJ Pirate.
yikes. But I wear this every Halloween. It's a tradition now.
Yeah, you've introduced that shirt and explained it to me over the
Multiple
years.
times, yeah. But
I'm doing it for the listeners.
for the listeners, yeah. Okay.
So happy Halloween, everybody. Hope you're, by the time you hear this, you had a great Halloween. Dr. Phil went on Joe Rogan and said, don't let your kids eat Halloween candy because it has fentanyl in it. What a weirdo, man. Just
I love the idea
so
of
strange.
drugs are expensive. Let's just give them away.
Right? Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, we're
Well,
having a
this
little...
makes this rounds every year, right? Like everybody starts freaking out that there's. I remember back in the day, it was like razor blades are in the candy, and like, yeah, then it's drugs. Everybody's gonna get high off of weed and our
Yeah.
candy, and it's
Yeah.
like, nah, they ain't giving out that shit out for free. Don't worry.
Don't let your kids listen to Dr. Phil, dude. That's what this really spooky thing this Halloween.
And I listened to some podcast. I think it was like Freakonomics was talking about that. They went back in the history books of the police records. Never happened. There was never razor blades.
Yeah,
in the Apple.
There's never been a recorded
No.
case of it happening.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway,
nobody does.
so happy Halloween. And I hope, you know what? If you don't dress up, usually dress up. When you don't dress up, you just kind of a lame-o.
Dude, all I had was a box, and I made a bootleg PlayStation 2.
It looks awesome.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
I got grocery bags inside this, so it keeps my head still. It's great.
You're going to suffocate halfway through, dude. You're going to suck
It's
one of
getting
those
really
into-
warm, I'll tell you that.
PS2, yeah, it just doesn't have enough fans, dude. It overheats. So yeah, you gotta
Hell
don't
yeah, dude.
overheat, Nick.
PlayStation needs more fans. Put some comments.
Yeah, put some more fans in there. Yeah, my outfit is inspired by. I was trying to think of what I wanted to be for Halloween, and all I could hear in my head was a very Wisconsin accent of "Watch out for deer," because every time I drive home, I almost hit these two deer, and the one deer is always like the thicker little ringleader, and I called her Thelma, and so it's Thelma and Louise that I almost hit every single night. And I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna be Thelma for Halloween," but inspired.
deer?
So we're gonna make her darker and kind of, I don't know, spookier. So it's Thelma.
Thelma got a
inspired.
job at Hot Topic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is Thelma Hot Topic.
It looks amazing. If you want to see this, go to dlgaming.net. Then you can find our YouTube from there, and then you can see how amazing her costume is. Nick's is pretty good for being low rent. Like mine probably costs so much more than his, and it's not as good. There's a
This was one
$30.
Amazon delivery.
Honestly, yours is probably the most expensive, Emilio. To be honest.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah.
There's a $30
mine wasn't
luchador
much.
mask. Supposedly
Yours is
it's authentic.
$30.
Yeah. Oh
No, yeah, you are the most expensive
I
one.
noticed something. So I went to Costco wearing this thing, and I was supposed to be walking around with Luna. I could not see her. I have no not peripheral. What do you call this kind? Horizontal vision. I can't see down, below me. And I was like, oh, that's why the Mexican wrestlers have such a hard time with little people. Like, because you can't see them. You know what I'm saying? The Mexican wrestlers, they're always, okay.
I didn't know that was a specific issue. With
Oh, yeah,
Mexican
it's constant.
You never see Nacho Libre when they fight the
Yeah,
midgets?
They fight
Or, I'm
midgets
sorry, the little
all
people?
It's like a constant thing in Mexico. Okay. Enanos, they're called.
All right.
Enanos. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they're called.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about some video games as we lose our stream in Christian here.
He couldn't do it with a non-politically correct.
Terms
boy,
towards
where
little
did he go? Oh, wait. He's coming back. He's coming back, folks.
We don't need him. That's
Yeah.
we kind of need him, huh? Now that we need filler, we can't get any.
Okay.
Jeez.
And if you could turn on your camera again, Christian, so it'll correct the order here. There we go. No, it fucked it up. All right. I'll just redo that. You guys go ahead.
All right. So let's start. It's a spooky start to a Halloween episode. I've got Death Trash. I bought this off the Steam Scream Fest. It's something I've been looking forward to for a long time. I actually downloaded the demo, which I never played. I did put it on the radar about 2 months ago or something like that. The appeal here is it's a pixelated RPG, isometric view, hardcore RPG. Like you build your own character, and you're in a post-apocalyptic world, and there's kind of like Cthulhu, like horror stuff all through the wasteland, and people are describing it as a Fallout 1, but with modern day mechanics. So it's not tactical turn-based. It's actually an action game for the combat, but the rest of the game is like a hardcore RPG. And I just love the idea of the mixing those two, because when you're already playing like a hardcore RPG, there's already a lot of like numbers and stuff you have to be looking at and keeping track of the story. And then if you have a really deep combat system as well, that's just another thing you got to be thinking about. Not that I'm saying that it can't be done. It's actually some of the best games are like that. But I want to play something like this just to see what the contrast is between action on one side and then like a heady story on the other. So anyway, overwhelmingly positive on Steam. It's on sale for $14.99 US. Yeah, I read the reviews. Everybody likes it. It's still in early access. You can't beat the game right now because the story's not done. But I guess the developer is heavily into the community, and he, back and forth, and they're working together to complete this. So, yeah, it's checking all the right boxes for me. Oh, I bought 2 copies. I sent one over to John because it has a local co-op, which we'll do through, what's that called, Bobby?
Steam Remote Play.
Yeah, remote play. So, sweet action.
Yeah, a lot of buzz about this game.
Yeah, I can't wait to play it, actually. If it's remote play, Bobby, we could probably play it together, right? Because you don't need to have a copy, right? Isn't that right?
I don't think you can do that.
You don't need to have a copy for remote play.
Yeah,
Oh, you don't? Okay.
yeah.
No, you don't. Yeah.
Oh, shit, I'll return my copy then. So I can play off of John's. Yeah, so that's it for me. What do you got, Nick?
So there's this game that's making the rounds right now on Twitch, amongst in other places. It's an extraction game, but it's medieval. So it's called Dark and Darker. It's kind of like Tarkov, but instead of guns and stuff, you have like bows and arrows and swords and classes and shit, and you can heal. It's a little clunky, all right? And the inventory system looks really like Baldur's Gate, but I think it's pretty fun. It's free right now. You can actually play test. You just request access to the play test, and you get it. It's one of those extraction shooters where the game is better with friends. Only because like the NPCs are actually really difficult. Some of them just kill you in one hit. You definitely need like a healer or like a range person or anything like that. Yeah, so it seems pretty cool.
Have you played it, Nick?
I had to play like one round before we started. I'm going to be playing probably later on today. Leslie has a work project, so I'll be probably playing some different games amongst like Phasmophobia with Days. But
I'm seeing a lot of buzz on this. It's all over the place.
yeah. I don't think it's going to be free to play when it actually comes out. I think it's going to be like $20 or something like that. But my life has been nothing but extraction shooters for like the past fucking 2 weeks. So yeah,
Good shit. I'm glad that people are, take the new genre and then start spreading it around. It's the best way to do it. What am I hearing? Is that your little
what
one?
do you got, Amanda? Speaking of shooters, what about Stalker?
Yeah, so I put this on my radar. S.T.A.L.K.E.R is definitely not a new game. It's been out for like 15 years or something. It's been out for a long time. But why I put it on the radar is because the mod community has really come together with S.T.A.L.K.E.R. There's a lot of devs that have come together and put a lot of heart and soul and love into creating and bringing S.T.A.L.K.E.R, kind of like how they did with Skyrim and Morrowind, where they like a lot of the modding community came together, especially with Morrowind, and then they revamped the whole game. They've kind of done that with S.T.A.L.K.E.R. And so there's this mod called S.T.A.L.K.E.R Anomaly, and it is all of the S.T.A.L.K.E.R games together, and then a whole bunch of mods, and it goes together with this other big, huge modded program called S.T.A.L.K.E.R Gamma, that has all kinds of new stuff that really updates and elevates the whole game into a whole new experience. that is completely free. And it was really just a massive passion project by a lot of really talented
Dedicated.
developers who have come together to really create something that deserves to be kind of in the forefront as almost like a AAA type of play, but is way better, you know, because it's also free. So it's like, it's not like they're after any kind of money or anything like that. They're just after truly putting together the game. So there's all kinds of little like quality of life things that they've added, all these little details that they've added both with light and creatures. They've added whole new creatures. Like there's like a whole sci-fi element in Gamma, and I've got a buddy that's been playing, or he's downloading it now, and he said that there's over like 320 mods on the Stalker Gamma, but it is an incredibly streamlined and easy process, is what he said. He said that it was all like the directions were all laid out. There was no room for questioning or kind of being confused. That it was all really well done and user friendly for people to download all of these mods and implement them.
That's like
And
that.
so I thought it was just really cool that they've done that and that it's out there.
That's like that extra step, you know. There's a lot of mods out there, but they never do the quality of life. Like, how do you install them? A lot of times, you know, you're in the INE files. You gotta make INI files, and you gotta delete the right one, because if you delete, you know, you're gonna fuck up your whole game. But yeah, if they make an installer, it makes it so much easier, of course. And they don't have to do that. Of course, they don't have to do any of this. It's so nice that people do this nowadays. You don't even have to own the base game. You could just go to the website and get the entire thing.
You can, yeah, that's the Anomaly. So Stalker Anomaly gives you all of the Stalker games, and then Gamma,
gotcha.
Stalker Gamma is really the big modded version of that goes on top of Anomaly. So that way, then you have everything.
Nice.
And it's just so cool. Like I said, it reminds me of like when they overhauled Morrowind like that,
Yeah.
but they did this for Stalker, and they added a whole bunch of things that kind of make it play a bit like Escape from Tarkov, but better.
But it's called
Which is
Skywind.
high praise because, you know, you guys know me. I fucking love Tarkov. So,
Is that called Skywind? I think it's called Skywind, isn't it?
I think it was called Skywind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on my like once I retire list. Play Skywind and what's the other one? Skyblivion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. But
I never played the
you know, and
originals.
for Halloween, it's perfect with Stalker as well. And so, you know, it's always beautiful to bring back these old retro games and then completely change them up, you know. And speaking of retro, Bobby, you want to tell me a bit about Vade Retro?
Damn, flawless.
I think it's pronounced Vade Retro. I'm just guessing because it's a
Oh,
game about
Vade.
exorcism in Italian.
Oh,
Yeah.
the guy without a costume is going to be critiquing. Is that what's going on here?
Well, actually,
Now you're really a
It's-
pirate.
it's the weird. It's the worst. But I was having this conversation at a Halloween party last night, Halloween costume party, and this is what I was wearing, by the way, my Halloween T-shirt. But I was talking about how the French, they cut off a lot of syllables. Like you'll see a word in French and then they pronounce it. And it's like, well, what happened to like the S and the D and the E at the end of the word? And it's just, you know, they cut things off. And I feel like English is right in the middle. French cuts stuff off, but then you have on the right side, Spanish and Italian that add entire new syllables if there's just one letter. You know, particularly the E. If you see an E at the end of a word, it's a whole new syllable in Italian or Spanish. So that's why I think this is Vade Retro, but I don't know.
I think the Australians take English and they cut off the ends of everything too. Everything's like a gunny or funny or you know, they
Is
put a
that
Y. They take
Sunnies.
yeah,
instead of
sunny.
sunglasses.
They cut off whatever and then they put a Y instead of a whole word. Yeah, like exactly. Sunglasses, sunnies.
You know, they live in a crazy upside down world over there.
They do.
So Vade Retro is, I think, trying to mimic Phasmophobia, but it's 4-player co-op versus one other person. And the one other person is playing the devil or a demon, and they're trying to possess possess somebody and also get rid of the other co-op players, which are priests, trying to exorcise the demon. It kind of a convoluted set of mechanics there, the way that this works, but it looks pretty interesting. And I'm certain I've never really seen a game about exorcism or definitely not one like this. That's a co-op game, an asymmetrical co-op versus game. What do they call those games? I think there's actually a name for it, like Evolve, where you have the 4v1. but it's a really interesting idea. The graphics are like not super great. Based on the little write-up they have on the Steam page, I can tell this is not like an English-speaking developer here. I'm not sure where they're from, but it's a really cool concept. And I have not played Phasmophobia. That's the one that everybody loves and plays. I might actually pick it up because it's on sale right now during Steam.
You should play with me and Days.
We're gonna play. Yeah, we're gonna play after this.
Oh, I have another Halloween party to go to. It's been quite the weekend for me.
People are you subjugating to your fucking shirt, dude.
I was gonna say he's going to more Halloween parties than anybody else, and he's the least dressed for it.
Yeah, no. I saw a pretty good one last night. What was the costume I saw? It was a lady dressed as a pizza. And I couldn't really tell because it was like a shawl, that she was wearing. And I thought it was like a polka dot pattern. And I looked closer. I'm like, oh, those are pepperonis. And then I realized it was like a circular thing that she was wearing. And it was just a giant pizza on her. Yeah.
You're not painting a picture here. What do you mean, like a circular thing on her head?
Like a poncho.
Oh, okay.
To put it in your
Bobby with the
I
earthy
thought you were gonna say
racism.
like, oh, I was checking out her costume and I realized I was looking at her boobs and I was like, oh, those are pepperonis.
No, I don't think I
Like,
realized it because she had a
wow.
little until I saw her little sign that said, "This is my cheesy costume," and it's like then I put it all together. But yeah, it was basically like a pizza poncho,
Gotcha.
poncho, folks.
That's pretty rad.
So speaking of ponchos, Bobby he used to talk to. He told me a story about this poncho that he used to love. And
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like, he's like, man, I used to wear that.
It's my
thing.
camping poncho.
Yeah, he's like, it was a great poncho. Blah blah blah. It was black and white and blah blah blah. So anyway, we go to Mexico. The only time we've been to Mexico together, I think. Maybe we've gone twice. Anyway, so we go down there, and there's like black and white ponchos. Like authentic, real good stuff. I was like, Bobby, look, you just like the poncho, and he's like, yeah. I was like, but it's like the one that you were talking that you no longer have. Don't you want to replace it? Like, I'll buy it for you. Not interested. All right, well, please don't act like you really love that poncho because we can replace it right now, and you're not even mildly
it was
interested.
the poncho was a moment in time, man. That was back when I used to camp. I don't really camp anymore, but a poncho, if you've never worn one, it's pretty much like wearing a blanket.
Yeah.
it's pretty
It's a
great.
snuggie.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking
Yeah.
rad.
But this particular one, it looked a lot like the one that Clint Eastwood wears in those old Western movies. There was a little bit of gray in it, but
They had tassels on the bottom.
yeah, it had like the
Yeah,
little tassels. Yeah, it had a
Those are good ones.
specific look.
Yeah.
And it was my camping poncho. I only wore it when I was camping because it's usually cold when you're camping. But I don't really camp anymore. And if I did, it would be in like a camper or something a little. I don't do like the full on camping. I'm too old for that.
I didn't get any of this explanation. It was just like, no, not gonna do it.
Nothing can replace my camping poncho.
Yeah, wonder what happened to that.
It's not that this is uncomfortable. It's just that when I'm talking, all my it rubs against my beard, and all I hear is like the entire time I'm talking is so distracting. So that's why I took it off. But it was $30. But I feel like this is gonna go to DLG cons. This is what I'm gonna wear when I arm wrestle everybody. Like this is the move right here. Maybe tonight, maybe Friday nights, Samantha will be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, sure. As you body slam her off the fucking bed and snap her L3. Yeah, sure. Real sexy. As you throw a warm elote with butter right in her eye.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's let's pivot out of that somehow into highlights here. I played GTFO this week. Nick actually played it with me. We were trying to find more people, but we ended up queuing up with randos, and that in itself was quite a
Oh my
challenge. So it's been a while since I played this game. Is it still in beta? Can we check the Steam page? I'm pretty sure they hit their 1.0 by now. Yeah, it's 1.0. So I played this in beta, and I'm pretty sure they had the same problem back then. It is very difficult to group up with someone and then also group up with other randos. What we figured out after a long, arduous process is that I need to start matchmaking and search for people. Then Nick needs to join my game by by way of a code that I have to copy and then paste into Discord, and then he copies, and then somehow the game remembers that or knows that you've copied something. It reads it from your clipboard, and then it says, "Oh, okay, you want to join this game?" And it's like if you're going to go through that step of like making this convenient, so the game
So make it a button.
Yeah. Well, just why don't you do it like literally every other game does, and have like a join your friend button or join through Steam? It was a confusing and difficult process, but we finally made it happen. And what's really sad is we played on the Discord where all my HOTS friends are on, because I was like, yeah, you should check out this game. You know, it's pretty good. It's really challenging, but you know, me and my friend are going to play. We'll come over here and we'll stream it in Discord so you can check it out. And the first 20 minutes is us just like trying to get a group together and get into a game. It was like a disaster. Did not sell.
Yeah, you went with the hard pitch on this one, and
I didn't
fell
push
flat.
it as much as Deep Rock Galactic, but I still was like, you know, this is worth checking it out.
How's your long game going on with that?
2 people so far.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Like into it.
Yeah,
Well, they
but
purchased
they're
it.
really into WoW right now because of the new expansion coming out, so it's not really happening. But yeah, definitely got some fans on board.
So, in case you're wondering why Bobby's not on our Discord, it's because he's on other Discords, fucking slutting around.
Yeah, trying to get more people, trying to spread the DRG gospel. Although the next game I'm trying to push is Pulsar Lost Colony, because that game's fantastic and I can't get enough people to play with me. But GTFO, once we finally got into a game, they've made a lot of improvements to it. Most notably, there's cosmetics now, which the game really needed. It was great going in and doing the missions and completing them, but you didn't get anything for it. So it felt a little empty. And while I think it's really about the core gameplay, like that's what makes a great game, you still want to have a little incentive in there. So
Can you explain the game, Bobby? I think a lot of people either forgot about this or you know.
yeah, I probably should. So GTFO is a co-op, I'd say stealth shooter combination of a game that's very difficult. Friendly fire is always on, 100% damage. The enemies, they do quite a bit of damage. There's lots of environmental things
Hazards.
that can kill you. Yeah, it's a very difficult game that you have to be very methodical, and you really have to communicate a lot. Voice chat gets used a lot in this game, and it's got kind of a spooky, atmospheric sci-fi look to it. And it's a really good game, but it definitely is not for everybody. It's not, I would say, accessible because of its difficulty.
So one
that-
thing I want to point out to this game is that we never even got to the actual like hard stuff, Bobby.
No, we just did
So
the
there's-
first mission, and I think the second one. Yeah, we did the first
So
two.
like later on in the game, there are invisible enemies that you just cannot see. Like there is no like, oh, there's a shade or there's
Well, what if
something
you
like
scan
that.
them, like the bioscanner?
Yeah, but the thing is, there's like guns that we don't even use and attachments we don't even use that allow you to see them invisibly. We
Mm.
haven't messed with any of the flying units. We haven't done any of the like these little bushes that grab you and shit that can also be invisible. Like we're doing like the base stuff that they released like 3 years ago. And this game is so fucking hard, but it's so fun. It's not one of those games where like somebody can do their own thing really. Like you all have to stay together and you all have to work together.
Yeah, and when you go into these missions, there are objectives. That's what you're trying to complete, and they vary. There are doors you have to open that trigger alarms, and then hordes come, and you have to kill them. You have to search around and collect things, or I don't know. I think all the missions are basically some variation of going and grabbing something and bringing it to a location.
to
Yeah.
to get through a game like this, I think you need like a hardcore group of core gamers that you like always hang out with, and you have a similar schedule. It sounds like you can't really cobble together a group.
Well,
No.
you'd be surprised. Maybe in the later levels when it gets very difficult, but the people that play this game are well aware of how difficult it is, and they're not messing around. Like they're not just like having fun, like playing it fast and loose. Like
You
they
can't.
are there to play the game.
Yeah.
It's like the community that plays like what is it, Crusader Kings? It's like that's a certain type of person
Yeah,
playing
yeah, yeah.
that game. You know, like you're either in or you're out of that game. That's kind of how I feel about GTFO. So even though I'm not like a huge fan of joining up with randos, it's usually not too bad.
You know what's so strange, man, is like it's got an 8 out of 10 on, you know, that's what they're advertising or whatever. And they put a lot their heart and souls into this, and you could tell that they really care about their game, and they can't get the fucking the matchmaking, not the matchmaking, but the multiplayer streamlined. I bet you that's hurting their numbers so much. I bet a lot of people picked this up and just never either tried it and got too confused with it, or it's not a nice first impression not being able. It's so frustrating. Like last night.
Perhaps it's the harbinger of difficulty to come, though. I don't know. Like if you, it's like
I see what you're
you better
saying.
be ready for this difficult game, and we're going to prep you by making it very difficult to start.
You have to be
Yeah.
at least this high to ride this roller coaster. Yeah.
Do you
I
know
bet.
IT? Else you can't play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That popped up last night with John and I. We actually got to play for like an hour and a half last night, or 2 hours, and he brought up some game. Oh, it's like what is it like? It is like Factorio, but you have a spaceship, kind of like FTL Factorio. And he's like, "Hey, do you want to play this?" And I was like, "Dude, it looks cool, but by the time we learn how to play this game, our hour and a half, 2 hours is going to be up. Like it's not accessible. We need something quick that we could just jump into." And we found Across the Obelisk, which I had put on my wish list, and I'd also put on my on the radar a while ago. So Across the Obelisk is a co-op deck building game. So you don't have to play co-op, obviously. You can just play. It's kind of like Darkest Dungeon. You have 4 characters on the left, the enemies on the right, and you just play it through. But the mechanics goes through a card system, and as you're playing, you're taking out weaker cards and adding other cards and upgrading the cards that you like. Very Slay the Spire, but instead of 1 character, you have 4. In the multiplayer, one person can do 3, however you want to do it. 1, 3, 2, 2, whatever you want to do, and then you play through it, which is cool because you can see your teammate's hand, and you can actually suggest a card. You could like put your little face on the card that you think that. I mean, we have voice comms, but if you didn't, I thought it was really cute that you could like just put your face on the card. You're like, "Hey, this is the one. You should play this one." And obviously, John and I both think we're geniuses, so we're fucking constantly, dude. No, that's not. Don't do that. So we're like critiquing each other, but it added to the game. It was cool. And then there's a little bit of like Divinity Original Sin, because you're progressing through this map, and sometimes there's events, and it's the multiple choice, help the demon or cast it away or run away. You have those things, and then it's better to not talk about it on a voice comm because one person votes and then the other person votes, and then if you have a disagreement, you have a roll off, and then whoever wins that, you go to do that, and then you go into the event itself, and then depending on what you select, like slay the demon, then you have to roll a +10, and then everybody roll a dice, and then your cumulative dice roll is whether or not you succeed or not. And if you succeed, everybody gets riches, and if you don't, then you fail. And then you go to the next challenge. And then what I really liked about the fights and the treasure system is sometimes you'll hit a cache of loot, right? Like a treasure chest, like a big one with all kinds of items in, like 8 items in it. But it kind of reminded me of WoW, where like once somebody selects an item, that's for that character, and the other characters can't get that one. So we really had to think about like, okay, you take that ring, and you take this sword or whatever. We had to really think about it because you don't want to somebody get the
Bind
wrong
on
thing.
equip.
So this game has like everything. It has like inventory management, not difficult at all. There's only like 5 items per person, but it's RPG. The art's pretty good. The music's pretty good. Big fan of this game. I'm not sure if it's in early access. I don't know.
Nope.
I don't think so. Yeah, it doesn't need to be. I think we bought it for $15 last night. I would strongly suggest this for anybody who likes deck builders, and especially if you have a friend that also likes deck builders.
So can you play this single player, or
Yeah.
is it really meant to be co-op?
No, I think they shoehorned it in really well. But yeah, you can control all 4 characters. I do think that like if you haven't played Slay the Spire, and then you go right into this, and this is your first deck building game, it might be a lot. It's like playing 4 Slay the Spires at the same time because you have to manage 4 characters plus inventory. You know, it's a lot. So, and then on top of all of this, there's other characters. So there's 4 tanks, 4 healers, 4, but you have to unlock all those other characters, which we didn't unlock any of them. So and it's a roguelike on top of all of this. So we got trounced our first time. It was bad. We didn't even make it halfway through the map. And then, we got gold and crystals and went back to the town and upgraded our cards and all this stuff and got way further and felt really good about where we were. Then we hit the boss and he fucking destroyed us. And then we went back to this, got bigger. It's good. The rinse and repeat is very enjoyable. I like this all the way around. Strong reco.
Nice.
Oh,
this
yeah.
looks
And
good.
I'm done. Would you like to talk now, Nicholas?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Uncle. So, fucking extraction shooters, man, they're crazy, right?
Crazy.
All the rage.
Emilio
right now.
plays cards and fucking whatever the fuck. Now we're talking about extraction shooters. So I've been playing a fuck ton of Marauders. It's got its 1.0 release. It is, I believe, $20 or $29.99. Anyways, for those who don't know, this is a game that's set in an alternate reality or alternate timeline. That's what it is. Essentially, World War II got to the point where nukes were launched everywhere, and so everybody kind of went to space, essentially. Sorry, World War One, right? Isn't it?
It's World War One. Yeah.
Yeah, World War One. Sorry. And so you are kind of like a survivor or like kind of like a lone wolf kind of thing, and your whole thing is that you are trying to complete contracts to make more money and survive out in space. It has like 2 modes of gameplay really. There's like the space aspect where you fly around your ship and you shoot other people's ships and shit, and you can board them and then kill them and take their ship. And then the other aspect is like the actual like gunplay. So when you disable someone's ship, you can board them and you can fight them on their own ship. Usually they have home field advantage because it is their ship. There are ways to kind of soften that up first. Like you can keep shooting their ship even though it's disabled, and it'll start spreading fires on their ship, and they'll start taking just damage. And eventually they'll have to take an escape pod from their ship. Then they can board your ship, and then it gets crazy. The second thing is that there are, I think, 5 classes of ship if you count the starter one. Some of them are made to play with other players. Some of them aren't. But you fly your ship. There's things to do in space. Like you can board like some of the space stations and stuff, or like some of the rogue ships that are around there, and start like, for example, I'm on a quest right now where I have to find a specific ship that's floating around in space, board it, and inspect its engine, and then leave. But there are, I believe, 5 maps or 6 maps, and like one of the maps is like a mining colony, and so you fly your ship to that space station, you board the space station, and then like everything inside of it is all about like asteroid mining. There's like a prison, there's a marketplace one, and there's NPCs inside of them, and the NPCs don't fuck around. They'll kill you like almost instantly if you don't pay attention. All the guns are World War One, World War II, and like Vietnam era guns. There's like M16s and stuff, but that's considered like a rare gun. There's a bunch of other shit, but I don't want to talk for too long. It's a great game. It's a lot more casual than Tarkov. There are things that you can't really, or that are not in the game, that make Tarkov a lot more hardcore, like actual limb damage and things like that. Like in this game, you eat food or you drink water to recover health, and so it's a little different, but it's the same. If you think Tarkov is too hard or you're just tired of playing Tarkov, play Marauders.
Nick,
Yeah,
I
that's
got
what
some
it is.
questions, Nick. So
So,
the other ships are other players, yeah?
not all the time. There are NPC ships, but they don't really do anything. They just float in space, and then they have raiders on them that you can go in there and kill. There are space station like probes which will have like radar dishes on them, and they can either deploy mines, shoot at you, or shoot like homing missiles.
And
And so you
how do you board somebody else? You have like a little tiny ship or something?
So exactly, yeah. So boarding a ship is kind of a flip of a coin, really, because you have to leave your ship, right? And if you're leaving your ship and you're in an escape pod, the escape pod has a ramjet, which means you can board other people's ships. The thing is, when you use that ramjet, you take like 20% damage to your total health,
Oh wow.
because you're being concussed because you're running into that ship.
Yeah.
Um, but the thing is, now you have someone else's ship if you kill them. The double whammy though is if you use your escape pod and you don't board someone else's ship, you can't go into the main battle area, like the main space station, because every map has a main space station that has like a bunch of resources on it and stuff that you can just go in and get and kill all the NPCs and fight all the people there. But if you can't do that because you're in an escape pod, you just have to leave out of the Spanus. And if you're asking what's the Spanus, it's the space anus. It's this giant floating ring, and sometimes there's two of them, and I think there's three on some maps, or it's random. Anyways, that's your safe spot. Like you fly your vehicle into that Spanus, and then you leave. But yeah,
I'm so
Spanus.
once you have two ships, then what? How can you fly two ships? Can
You can't fly two ships, so you have to designate if you want to keep their ship or keep your own. And some ships you don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, that's
because
what I was gonna say. So if you have the top ship, then what? Why would you keep hunting?
because sometimes other people will keep stuff on their ship or they'll die on their ship, and you want to take all their shit with you. But
I
the other
see.
thing is like some ships, so like the yee ass beginner ship that you get, you can't put any attachments on it. You just start off with a tank turret and that's it. But
Mm,
you can buy the same ship, but you can actually put attachments on it like a torpedo launcher and stuff. So if you disable someone else's ship or you board their ship and you kill them, and it's a better ship than yours, then take it. But sometimes what you can do is you can board their ship, kill them, take their ship, take their escape pod, and get back onto your ship.
And last
Does that make
question:
sense?
if you get
Yeah.
third partied on this, like if you attack somebody else, somebody can just take your ship straight up, right?
Yep. Yep.
At any
Which
point.
happened to me my first game.
Yeah, I bet.
So there was three ships and four players. I was attacking one ship and then I got third partied. I ejected out of my ship before anybody could board mine. I went onto the one that I was originally shooting, and by the time I killed those two guys in that ship and I got back to my own ship, there was somebody already on my ship. I was like, God damn it, dude.
Sounds like a
I don't
crazy
I don't know how the
game, dude.
matchmaking I don't know how the matchmaking works, and it's kind of loopy. Like, so you have anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes of escaping the actual zone. But the thing is, like, you get onto the space station, and somebody will just board the space station like 15 minutes later. And you're like, where the fuck have you been? Like, what have you been doing on the map?
Waiting,
just,
dude.
and that's the other thing. Some people will park their doo-doo ass ship like behind an asteroid, get into their escape pod, and just wait outside the space station until you get out, and then just fucking leech you, dude.
Rude.
It's such a good game. There's so many different ways to play. What
Hats
is
off.
funny though, and it's only happened once, is that you can actually shoot the escape pods and kill the people inside them. Because like no one gets their shit, but it's hilarious because you just see this little escape pod that's blinking, just like burned to death out in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's actually really fun.
Hats
Dude,
off.
I-
Hats off to the devs, man. This how'd they pull this off? This seems like all kinds of shit's going on.
Oh man, very rough, very rough. I'm doing the I mean not rough, like good for them, but it's like a patchwork of a lot of interesting things coming together. I did the community management for this game for launch, so I played a fuck ton of Marauders. I'm super excited to play it with Nick. Nick, have you ever had the circumstance where you party up with someone and they kill you and take your ship and escape
No.
with your shit?
I haven't played with anybody yet, but I've
Oh, you
gotten
just
to
been
the
playing solo. Gotcha.
Yeah, I've gotten to the situation where me and this guy were killing one of the NPCs, like the captains that have like a machine gun, and he's like, "Look, man, I'll just take his gun and you take his armor." I'm like, "Not good enough," and then I just shot him in the back of the head with a 12 gauge,
Yeah.
and I was
The
like, "Yeah, I'll take your money too." So
the dynamics between like the teams and stuff, because there's no voice chat in game yet. So people are like trying to signal to each other. They're like writing on the wall with bullets, or they'll like jump a certain way. It'd be like friendly, like help me. I think that's a
Yeah,
part
no,
where the game
definitely.
shines.
Yeah. But the other thing is that when you get fucking gooned by 5 people because you're using these goddamn World War One and World War Two guns, and unless you got like an Uzi, which is in the game, unless you got something like that, and there's 4 people running at you, you're fucked. Like you can't do hardly anything. But it's what just an example of like for the people that do play Tarkov that only speak Tarkov. This game there is no magazines. Like you just have ammo, and that's kind of the difference as far as like how gunplay goes. The gunplay is slow. Like it is not like Call of Duty or anything close to that. It's like the perfect mixture of like casual like Call of Duty, but like try hard like Tarkov.
Chris,
Yeah.
I hate to keep going on this game, but like, isn't it like a hard sell? Like, how do you explain this game to the people that don't know? How do you make people want this game if it's so hard to explain? You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's too hard of a sell for people who like looter shooters in general. Basically, I think
It's
what
not
Nick
a looter
said,
shooter.
like, well, so, play for keeps.
Thank you.
What? My bad. When like you don't need to sink as many hours into Marauders to be good at it, like Tarkov or something. You know,
It's more casual.
it's a little more forgiving,
Yeah.
and so that's where the sell is. Also, you can play in space and like board people's spaceships. Like that's pretty cool.
So what I've seen people do, like I've seen streamers obviously play this, right? So they get into the tier 2 ship, which can house 4 people, I think. A lot of the time, they really hardly ever go onto the space station, and they just harass other players.
Mm.
And what they'll do is one person will stay on the ship, or 2 people will stay on the ship. They'll disable the other team's or the other person's ship, and then like a strike force of 2 people will leave, because the ship only has a certain amount of escape pods, and if you don't have any more, then you're fucking burning to death on your ship. You can put out fires and stuff like that, but if there's no more escape pods, then there's no more escape pods.
It's a little Sea of Thieves-ish too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Nick, when we play, when I play this game, I play like a fucking rat. I don't care. I'm not good at shooters. I'll wait in the corner. I'll wait for 10 minutes for someone come around, pop. But when you are first going into a map, so all the ships usually start off at different areas of the solar system or whatever, and they're approaching the main spot. And where they dock on the main spot is actually where they are in the game. So if you see someone where someone docks, if you dock next to them, then you can go to their airlock, and if you have their key, basically if you kill them and take their key, you can get in their ship. So when I play like a fucking rat boy, like a stupid fucking rat boy, I just wait outside of someone's airlock. They get all the shit for me, and then I shoot them once, and I take their ship and I leave. And I find it fun. I don't know if it's fun for them, but it's fun for me.
There's a streamer you would really, really love to watch. His name is S.T.A.L.K.E.R, and he is a Tarkov player. His whole strategy, the only thing he does while he streams, and it's he'll bake muffins, he'll do whatever the fuck he wants while he does this, but he just waits next to the exit. That's all he does, and he just shoots whoever comes. But the thing is this guy's got the wackiest fucking hiding spots. Like you'll hide behind a door that can barely open a little bit, but it's too dark to see him, and then shoot you in the back of the head, even though you're wearing like the heaviest stuff. Like, you would love him.
You can get pretty cruel in this game. Like you kind of can tell when someone's new at the game because they'll like rush out of their vault and right into the map, and then you're like, okay, this guy does not know what he's doing. So then you can wait in his ship. Because, who wants to do their own driving? So you wait for him to get back in his ship, bring all his shit with him, and then wait till he gets almost at the end of the map until he's out. And then you shoot him in the back of the head.
Oh, that is wicked, dude.
Dude, well, there's
You
there's
shot your
another
Uber
strategy.
driver, dude? That's fucked up. You shot your Uber driver and took his car?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there's another strategy where you park your fucking go-kart wherever you want, right? And then you get into the escape pod and you stay next to the entrance of the space station in your escape pod. And as soon as they're about to dock in, you ram their ship and you stay inside their ship because they're worried about leaving their ship and getting to the actual space station. And the warning sign for somebody has docked your vehicle doesn't activate in the transition for you going from space to personal combat. So you dock them, they go in there, get all their shit, and then they come out, and then as soon as they just get onto the captain's helm, you just notice that the ship's moving because the ship makes sound when it's moving. You know that he's driving. You just walk up behind him, shoot his legs out, and then you're done.
I recommend Marauders to anyone. Like, I think even Emilio, you, John, like anyone can just load in. It's not complicated at all. It takes
No.
10 minutes and have a good time. You know, even if you
Yeah.
die, you'll still have had a good time. So,
And there's always free shit, no matter what ship you have. Even if you run out of money or you run out of guns, there's always a pistol, a harness, and ammo for you to always use
So you can rat
And
boy
so-
all day.
yeah, you can fucking rat boy all day.
all day.
Okay, so we
But-
said Tarkov about 5,000 times, but somebody's going to actually talk about Tarkov. What you got,
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah, so speaking of the real Tarkov, and as if Tarkov couldn't get any harder, here we have the Halloween event where they have a cool like little countdown thing, which are the souls collected. And once it gets to 666, the whole game goes dark in like a Halloween storm kind of thing. Which is super creepy and great. They also have a whole bunch of like masks. Like I have the Jason Voorhees mask already and like a vampire mask, and you can get a pumpkin lantern mask which lights up in front of you so that way you can see in front of you, which I'm really hoping today that I can do a 5-man factory raid with everybody wearing pumpkin mask and we just come in like pumpkin gang and kill everybody.
That is
So
sweet.
you know what's funny is that the people that hold on to those days. So this game will probably wipe until New Year's, right? It's probably what's going to happen is we're going to get our 1.0 release in New Year's, most
Mhm.
likely. But what people do is they'll get like 10 pumpkin masks and then just keep them in their inventory until December, and then just start selling them for like millions of rubles. It's pretty fun.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, because right now they are only going for 11,000 rubles, which is not that much, I think, for what you can get, especially if you and all your homies want to troll the shit out of people and roll in as a pumpkin gang. Worth it. But then also, too, I'm thinking, yeah, financially, it's just a good investment, right? So, but it's cool. They have the cultist out. And so, the cultist, if they shoot you with venom, like you'll die pretty quickly. And then because it's poison tipped, and every time you load into a raid, you get random buff and debuff. So sometimes I remember Nick, you were saying that like you had a buddy that had like a 25% increase in weight, I think, or
carry
like,
weight.
in carry
Mhm.
weight, yeah. And so you can get some things like that. One time, Jew for You logged in, and it was just an instant like he can't regenerate health. And he can't
Yeah.
get any health, and he just kept losing like 2 HP every second, no matter what. So that sucked. That one sucked for sure. But it's pretty fun. I kind of like the Halloween event, and I also really kind of hate it because I'm somebody that's just now starting to know the maps. And so when everything is pitch black, I have no fucking idea where I am. So that's
Yeah,
terrifying.
lots of people are playing every map with night vision in their backpack, just in case the storm activates. And for those who don't know, so on most of the maps in Tarkov, there are bosses, right, which have more health than normal. They usually don't die with one shot to the head. But during the Halloween event, the boss who is known for just gorilla running at you and whacking you upside the head with a fucking sledgehammer is
Killer.
now on every map,
Right.
and
yeah.
he has a scythe instead of a hammer.
Yeah, some of the bosses look really creepy. There's 100% chance of Tagilla popping up on Factory and Cultist at night. And then Tagilla pops up on all the maps, but yeah, with a scythe and comes running at you. It's pretty terrifying, but pretty exciting and fun as well. I don't know. I'm really enjoying the Halloween event so far, but it's also like really difficult. And I've just been losing all of my shit because I just keep dying at an even more higher rate than I normally do.
Yeah,
But I think it's worth it. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for on our highlights. I want to give a shout out to Jeff Sunday for 19 months of a sub. He says, "Happy Halloween, y'all." Also, thanks for the Marvel Snap addiction.
Oh,
You're
dude.
welcome, dude.
Yeah.
I've noticed streamers playing that in between rounds of games too. Like
Yeah.
that game's getting around. It's pretty popular right now.
And it's so quick. It's 2 or 3 minutes up. But I did the biggest fault, two big faults. One, it is a battery fucking muncher, dude.
oh yeah.
I mean, it burns through your battery on your phone. If you play for 20 minutes, you'll be down 40% or something like that. So it's you almost have to be plugged in. It's like a Steam Deck or something. And then the other thing is, I'm sure this is the reason they do this is some sort of compulsion, like human, like just trying to make people click everywhere. You get rewards, but the rewards that you get are on 4 different screens. So you have to go to your leveling up page to level up rewards. Then you got to go to your character rewards to level up your characters. Then you have to go to your whatever, your gold rewards to get those. And then you have to go to your other leveling up to get those rewards. Why? Put it all on
You
one.
want to know why? I'll
to-
tell you right now.
To keep you clicking? I don't know.
No, because eventually they're going to put advertisements, and every time you switch between them, you're going to get an advertisement.
Dude, it's so bad. Like,
Every
Did you try playing
every-
it, Chris?
yeah,
yeah, I love it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really yeah, it's really good.
yeah,
it's
I
pretty
love
good.
it. Yeah, yeah. Wait, before we go on,
So, will
we
you
do
guys agree that like it's a Bobby? It's a lot like the weapons in TF2. They're not better; they're just different, you know. And that's how the cards are in this game. Nothing's like sure. There's some
Nothing's brazenly overpowered.
yeah, and there's some really trash cards, but you replace those in your first 20 minutes of playing. Those are just to show you how to play the game, and then you could get rid of the ones that don't have any abilities at all. But yeah, I mean, I'm still play. I would say 40% of my deck is still the starting cards. I really like. I mean, you can go into all these other strategies, but I think just like hardcore good cards will get you pretty far. I'm level 39. I flirt with 40 and then I lose, so I'm right around the 39, 40 range. What about you guys?
I haven't. I've only played one real live game. I should be playing more often. It's just my daughter likes slapping the shit out of my phone when I pull it out. So, yeah.
Chris?
I don't even know.
Okay.
4 something. Like
Okay.
I've barely played any games.
Okay.
But before we do listener questions, I do have someone here who wants to talk about our Patreon. Do you guys want to hear that?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. They've just come in the room. Hi, I'm Bobby's favorite childhood toy, the tilde key from his childhood keyboard. After long sessions of typing up erotic fan fiction about the newest computer hardware, he would plot me off his keyboard and put me in his pocket, where we would join the other teenagers on the block for neighborhood adventures. If you would like to support Bobby's erotic hardware fan fiction writing, head to our Patreon at dlgaming.net and click support the show. Thank you.
That was
Perfect.
Thank you so
What a
much.
what a peach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What a
thank
Dude,
you.
such a saint, dude.
Never forget the tilde key. Never.
Oh, wow.
Loud booming voice for such a small little guy, you know?
Yeah, pretty crazy.
It's all those years learning from Bobby yelling. He's learned how to project.
Oh, Ben recycled. He just put something that he shouldn't put on there, so we got to get rid of him after 3 years of subscriptions.
This
All
is
right.
the day it ends, everyone.
We've got
Bring
a
out the
lot
banners.
of listener questions for our
I
Halloween
try
episode.
to get through them really quick because we got places to be, unfortunately.
Yeah, so let's start off with Warconius here. He says, name your top 3 spooky video games. My top 3, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Dead Space 2, and Death Stranding, which is quite terrifying when sneaking through a forest full of BTs.
Let's each do one. That'll sync it up.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Doom 3. Doom 3 scared the fucking shit out of me. Doom
Yeah,
3?
it's more of a
Am I-
horror
Yeah,
game
Doom
than
3.
action
That was
game, right?
the spooky one with the shadows. And
I got to a
lot of
certain
darkness.
point. I've talked about it before. I could not go through a room. There was a room. My fear kept me from running through the room. This is the only time I've ever done this. I closed my eyes in real life, and I ran in the game forward and just kept doing that until I got through that room. That's how scared I was of that game. I never beat it, but it was like a room where there was like bodies hanging from, like in a cooler. I couldn't do it. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Doom 3
about you,
was a
Bobby?
great game, and I have not beat it because every time I'm having a Half-Life 2 situation with that game where I played through the first half many times, but just have never finished it because I keep losing my save.
but you can find it online, right?
I mean, yeah, I could, and which I have done because now it's like Doom 3 Annihilation, I guess is like the new version of it. So yeah, I think I did that and loaded approximately where I left off, but then I don't know where the story is. It's a long game. It's like 17 or 18 hours, I think. But yeah, Doom 3, that was a game changer. It was so spooky when it came out.
Yeah.
I remember that being a big hit.
What's your favorite scary game, Bobby?
It's not that scary, but I'm gonna go with a shout out to the first Fear game. I thought that one was just
game's
fantastic.
pretty fucking freaky, dude.
Yeah, the nail gun, like it was. There were some scary moments. The problem with that game is it didn't lock your camera during some part. So there's like a part in an early level where you're walking up a ladder and you're sporadically seeing these visions of this little girl, a ring type girl, long black hair, covering her face, and if you're looking away, which you can do, you completely miss the girl. But if you are looking like you should be and you catch her, like it really does scare you because it pops up and it just comes out of nowhere, and it's not like when a game controls your camera and locks you into some sort of cinematic mode, you kind of expect those things to happen, but when it happens naturally in the game, it can get pretty frightening. But I really like that game for lots of reasons. The AI, I thought was really good in that. The barks that the characters had, the plot in general, I thought was actually all right.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Counter-Strike situation going on, but then also spookiness. Right?
Yeah, I mean the whole thing with your squad being called the Fear Squad, and it like stood for.
That's a bit much.
What does it stand for? Can we look that up? It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's so
It's a
stupid.
little on the nose.
But you're basically a squad of elite soldiers that handle like paranormal activity. And the squad is
false
called Fear.
evidence appearing real, I think.
No, you got to do the video game one. It's
Yeah.
like it's like I don't know.
First Encounter, Assault and Recon.
First encounter. Okay, that's what it is. Assault Recon. Yeah, Fear.
Yeah.
Although that does sound like something that people would do. Like let's call this unit
Trust me,
Fear.
people in the military definitely would do this.
Yeah, they love that.
If you gave them $20, they'd be like, "We're the Fear Squad now."
Yeah. But yeah, the second one I played through, it came out like when first-person shooters were on their way out, like late 2000s. And I played that one a couple years ago. It was all right. I mean, not that great. And
I
then
think
3 I've never played.
We're probably ready for a reboot, no? Like, it's time.
I don't know if this franchise warrants a reboot. I don't know if it's not like Dead Space where people just remember it so fondly. It was
Yeah, it
a
doesn't
pretty
have a cult
popular
following,
game,
really.
but yeah.
Days, what do you got?
Yeah, for me, my top 3 spooky games is definitely Silent Hill 2, Amnesia, and like Resident Evil Village, probably.
I could not I could not play Amnesia for 20 minutes. I couldn't.
I can't either. That's why it's my top spooky one,
Yeah.
dude. I can't even leave the like intro room.
I can't.
Like,
Me neither.
I know. Yeah.
That's
God, we're
What are you
set
doing
to
later?
start
You
it.
want to play Phasmophobia and have a scare off and see who can last the longest? We'll probably beat each other by just a minute.
If you guys are on like after like 8 p.m., I could probably play, but that's late.
Games
I'll
are
be
not
on
nearly as
then.
scary when you're
I'll
playing
be
with
on
other
then.
people,
Yeah.
though. So I
Yeah,
don't
I'll be
think
on then.
Phasmophobia is going to be as scary. But Amnesia was the first run and hide game that kicked off that whole genre. Then we got our
Yeah.
Outlast and all those other games.
Wait, have you played Phasmophobia, Bobby?
No,
Can't say it's not scary, dude. It's fucking
I'm
scary.
pretty sure I can.
Especially in VR.
It's even scarier now.
Oh, in VR,
with the
everything's
Halloween
scary
event.
in VR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, my favorite scary game is Phasmophobia. I mean, if we talk about a top 3, it's Phasmophobia, Dead Space 2, and I would probably say, Resident Evil Village. Yeah, it's a banger. But Phasmophobia, dude, if you can get a co-op game to be scary, I'll be with the 3 toughest friends I fucking have. And one of us dies, we're like, let's go. Let's just leave. Leave Trevor behind. We're good. We don't need to figure out what the type of ghost is. We'll just leave Trevor's body there. Don't take a picture of it.
If a guy named Trevor goes down, you got to get the fuck out, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, my friend group starts with 2 white guys and ends with his name's Sand King and his real name's Samir.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I got my Trevor and my friends Trevor and Brett and then Samir. And then my mom's like, what happened? We just had 2 white guys and
Yeah.
then just a random Pakistani guy.
And Nicolas.
And then Nicolas.
Yeah.
All right, next question from Rorconius. Name a most memorable moment where you jumped out of your seat in fear playing a game. I'd say face crabs in Half-Life 2. That messed me up when I was younger.
Can I answer for you, Bobby?
Should you? I have an audio clip ready to go.
Oh,
Christian. Christian, if you could load up the audio clip called Year Walk
Year Walk.
Yes.
I thought it was Fran Bao.
No.
Okay.
Franbo? No.
Yeah.
I never beat Franbo. Year Walk was a game that came out many
I
years
read in the
ago.
reviews.
You can, yeah, there we go. It started off as an iOS game, and then it came to PC, and I played it, and it's like this Swedish folklore spooky game that kind of starts off pretty mundane and is pretty boring, but then has this really scary part. So I talked about this in 2014 around our Halloween episode, and I pulled a clip here, and this is me talking about the game, and you're going to hear a recording because what had happened, and I'll explain this in the clip, I think, but this was the time when NVIDIA Shadowplay had first come out, so I was just recording all my gameplay, and I didn't know I was recording at this time, but you're going to hear a very natural reaction to a jump scare.
You know, it'd be so nice, Bobby, if we had the enthusiasm we had then with all the auto.
I listened to that old episode. I'm like, God, we were so into it.
Yeah,
man.
man.
We were
Yeah.
so passionate about video games.
Halloween used to be a
Yeah.
month-long thing for us. You would start playing video like
Yeah.
spooky video games
Oh, God, I played so
October
many.
1st.
It was work, though. God, I played so many scary
It was a
games.
whole thing. All
Yeah.
right.
All right, roll that clip.
I read in the reviews, just on the Steam store page, that this game was scary. And at first, it doesn't look scary at all. It looks like a Christmas card. And I'm playing through it. I'm like, all right, it's not very scary, whatever. And then I reached a part that was scary. And I was recording, and I guess my mic was on.
You didn't know this?
Yeah, I didn't know my mic was on, but fortunately it was. And it'll be on the video for those watching on YouTube. But for those listening, just go ahead and listen to what we got here.
But in Bobby's defense, what comes up on screen, I would have said, "Oh fuck you"
Yeah.
to as well.
It was very late at night, and I didn't play a little earlier than that. It was this lady who came out from the woods, and she was singing very softly, and then she turns into a hideous monster and runs right at the screen.
And the voice you heard in there, that was Chad
Yeah,
from
that was
back in the day.
Chad.
That was
We mentioned him. Nobody knows him anymore,
yeah,
but
that was the Chad.
yeah, that's the guy I spent the weekend with last night
Yeah.
or last weekend. Yeah, dude, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I was gonna give a different answer actually.
Oh,
Well,
really?
it was either that one or you have two good stories. There was one where you were dozing off and something was still playing, and then it woke you up. Do you remember what story that is? You were dozing off, but regardless, you were playing Five Nights at Freddy's. And you said, by the way, he says it's not scary, guys. It's jump scares
Yeah,
and it's
jump
cheap.
scares. Yeah,
So,
they are
yeah.
pretty
He
cheap.
says for some reason it's not scary, but every time he got scared, his instinctual move is to hit the escape button. But in the original Five Nights at Freddy's, that completely closes the game out.
Yeah.
So every time he got
Instant
scared,
exits the game.
instant exits. So every time he got scared, he would fucking close down the entire game, and it would ruin his run. So he's like, yeah. By the way, not scary. Not scary, but you know.
And by the way, I do recommend Year Walk. That game is like less than an hour. I think it's pretty short. I'd check it out. Worth checking out.
That's cool. For me, I fell out of my chair. Resident Evil 1. I took that home. PlayStation 1, I think. Is that right, guys? I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't play that
PlayStation
game.
1, PlayStation 2, whatever it was. And yeah, there's a certain part, people that are in their 40s will remember. You're just walking down a hallway and two zombie German pinchers. Is that what they're called? Those dogs?
The Doberman
Doberman pinchers, yeah. Jump through the windows, and you guys don't even know how it was such a big thing. We got the scariest game. Me and my friends got together. We put in the disc. We're like, we're gonna be so scared, and we close the thing, and it's the first thing that it says is Resident Evil. We're like, oh, it talks, and we're playing, and like 5 minutes into the game, we're like so into it. We're all crowding over my fucking 15-inch screen, and we're looking, and then he's like, go down that hallway. We go down the hallway, and these fucking werewolf zombie dogs come through the window. It's a mundane hallway. There's nothing spooky about it. There's actually the silverware is very nice that's on the side, and there's a nice vase right there. And then it was so scary. The scariest moment I've ever had in video games, for sure. Yep.
What about you, Days?
For me, the the moment where I jumped out of fear, it's so bad. So I had taken off the whole day because Skyrim was coming out, and so I got Skyrim, and I got really excited. It was back when I had it on like Xbox 360, and I had my little like gamer chair, and I was sitting in it, and it was the first time I ever played Skyrim, and I'm playing it, and it was that scene where like you walk into the cave in the very beginning, and the spider comes down. I straight up screamed and like chucked my controller and fell back and like smacked into my friend that was sitting next to me. So like that's the level of fear we have. Skyrim, yeah. But the other time, like, dude, and I wish I had a clip of it, but it's gone because Twitch doesn't keep it. But when I was playing Jedi Fallen Order, there's like speaking of spiders, dude, I have never screamed so hard and like slammed into my keyboard like when a spider pops out and fucking pins you in Jedi Fallen Order. And I had a clip of that a long time ago, but it's gone. Like it's gone. I wish I had it. But
It's like the first boss, right?
yeah,
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 'cause it
dude,
was in
it's
the demo.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Totally scared the shit out of me. I was not expecting it at all. Like I walked in, I think it was even SOCOM had said something like, "Oh, there's a really big surprise for you," and I was like, "I don't like that."
Got you
So,
anyway.
I walked in, and yeah, dude, that was horrifying. I had nightmares about that spider for a while.
Jeez.
For me, it's I'll be quick. It's Dead Space 2's opener. The first time I ever played it, I'm like, I'm gonna play Dead Space in the dark. No one's coming up here. My parents are asleep. And then I played the game, and I was like, all right, cool, little intro. And then the guy gets his fucking head drained in front of you, and then you're in a straitjacket, and you're just like, run, I'm gonna die. It's kind of incredible that I didn't die the first time I played that. So, yeah, it was scary as fuck.
Was that scarier or less scarier than when I took you to the werewolf movie?
Dude, I couldn't sleep for 2 days when you took me to fucking Werewolf in Paris, you asshole.
It's a great movie. All right,
Yeah, Chad was there.
what's next?
Well, Scram TX, he basically asked the same two questions that Warconius did. What's your favorite scary or spooky game of all time? And also, what's the scariest moment in a video game? But he says for him, it was being attacked by a Reaper Leviathan in Subnautica.
Did
And
you get that far, Bob?
yeah, I can definitely relate to that because once you run into the Leviathans, like they are these huge beasts. And I got a problem with the whole underwater thing to begin with. That's a very spooky place for me, like in general. And not because of like Jaws or anything, but it's just like, dude, you don't know what's down there. That's like outer space. Like that's just, there could be ancient creatures down there. So like giant underwater creatures scare the hell out of me.
Is a Reaper Leviathan different from like a regular Leviathan? Is there different?
I don't think
levels?
so because I played a lot of Leviathan or Subnautica when it was in beta.
He's spooked. he's got Leviathans on the mind.
Leviathan, great movie though. RoboCop punches a chick in the face at the end. We talked about it on our movie podcast. Anyway, when I played it, they just had the one big sea creature at the end, and I don't know if they've changed that when they went to full release. So I'm assuming he's talking about the same things that I ran into, and you don't run into them until much later in the game, and you start getting close to the crashed ship, and they're very dangerous and very spooky. But Scram TX has another question. What makes a moment the scariest in a video game? Personally, the more I have to lose in a game, the scarier the moment. For example, if I have a lot of loot that I'm going to lose and I die, the moment is scarier than if I didn't.
Yeah, because the stakes are higher. I dig it, man. That's a good point. Now, Bobby and I fundamentally disagree on this. I think jump scares is what... I get it. Like, he wants something that fucking spooks you to your core, and you're, like, thinking about it afterwards, and you're like... You know, you're creeped out. That's what makes something scary, right, Bobby? But like, I think like if you jump scare me, I think that's a scary game. And if you do it repeatedly, like that, you know, obviously you're getting conditioned by the jump scares. You do them. All right, dude, I saw you jump out 15 times now. You're not scary anymore. But if you continuously get the jump scare off, like the original Five Nights at Freddy's does, I 100% say that's a super scary game. You know what I mean? So Yeah, if you could continuously pull off jump scares, that's quality scare.
For me, it's atmosphere. Like that's probably leaning. I'd probably be more on Bobby's side with that then too. Because yeah, like for me at least, like I have a very active imagination, so it's like you don't even need to give me much, man. I will freak out. But like a game that does atmospheric fear, so it's oh yeah, that stuff to me, I love, and I love that in scary movies too. Like you don't necessarily need to do jump scares or like super gory stuff, but if you can create such a creepy and like terrifying atmosphere, like that's to me is what makes a great scary game, is when you have such a good way of just like Phasmophobia is probably a really good example of that in a sense. That you're going into a house searching for ghosts and like you know it's going to be creepy, but there's things that they do and like little details that make it, like you turn on a light and turn around and then the light turns off, like things like that. Or if somebody, I know that there was a game I think called Stranger where like the whole premise of the game is to not let a dude get in who's trying to get into the house, and it's just like it's a simple enough concept, right? But like that is so terrifying because it's just like the atmosphere of that, of being alone and then somebody trying to creep in and like you getting paranoid like that. Like that is to me like a great scary game, So it's all about atmosphere.
Yeah. And Phasmophobia doesn't jump at you it doesn't throw a fucking poltergeist at you when you open the door. It's like a slow.
It can.
It can. I guess, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
If
Sometimes
you're
it
playing
does.
if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, and especially if you have a type of ghost that's very aggressive, you can step in the door and then boom, the shit hits the fan. Like literally, like you are fucked. And it's happened.
But a lot of times it's a slow build. Like
no, yeah, especially if you're playing on the normal difficulties, it's very much a slow, methodical figure. Decipher the puzzle kind of thing.
Bobby,
For
I
me,
think
like
you
a
would
scary
love
moment.
fucking Phasmophobia, dude.
Yeah, that's why I think I'm going to pick it up.
Yeah. I
Yeah, we
guess-
should play tonight.
I don't know what
at
time.
Like 11.
We're thinking tonight, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get some chicken tenders.
I might be
Be good.
home. Some chicken tendies. I want to talk about these run and hide games because I feel like that was like a big turn for scary games. And what they did there was very simple. They just took power away from the player because we're used to playing video games where, you've got a full arsenal at your disposal and you're just running around blowing things up. And it's hard to be afraid when that happens.
Really quick, Bobby. That was my critique of the first Doom 2016. Is like, how am I supposed to be scared? I'm ripping these things apart with my hands. I'm the motherfucker here.
Yeah.
They should be scared of me.
But I think
That's
that's
why
what Doom
one of
was
the
going
songs
for.
is called "The Only Thing They Fear Is You."
Yeah. So, but that like, because when you see the graphics, I was like looking for Doom 3 again, and then I got this like, it was a great game.
They went a whole different direction.
Yeah,
they
totally
did their
different
own
direction.
thing. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, with these run and hide games, that's exactly what they did. They took the power away from the player. You have to run and hide. You can't fight back, and that's a very, especially back then, that was a very awkward position for a gamer to be in because you've just been trained for decades that you can just mow everything down with a machine gun, solve all your problems with bullets. So I think that was really good at first, but I definitely got burned out on it after a while.
Yeah, Outlast, right? I mean, you fucking loved Outlast.
Yeah, and the DLC. But then when Outlast 2 came out, I got a couple hours into it, and Outlast 2 was a much longer game. I felt like the first one was 5 or 6 hours, and that was perfectly paced for that. The DLC was even shorter than that, and then they come out with Outlast 2, which is like over 10 hours, I want to say, and it's just too long for a game like that, I think.
Yeah, you're gonna get fatigued.
Yeah, there was a lot more going on. They really filled out the world. You had outdoor levels and. They did a lot of things right in there, but it was still a combination of just being too long and also me getting tired of the genre.
Bobby, real quick, we talked about Game Pass for you last week. Like there was a few things. Did you pick it up?
No, I haven't got Game Pass yet.
Okay.
The moment I need to, I will, though.
Because I was curious if you're going to try Scorn, even though Days flush it down.
Not after last week.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, what's the next question?
Next question is from Cricket Soldier. What is your favorite Halloween treat?
I'm gonna say bottle caps. I'm gonna sound like a fucking old man here.
What are
bottle caps of candy that are chalky as shit? Yeah,
I know
love 'em.
bottle caps.
That
I don't
and
even know what
dots.
that is.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
Those are
what
Dots.
pretty
You
good.
guys remember dots?
Dots are good. Yep. Yeah, I don't like a lot of the traditional Halloween candy, like candy corn.
I actually like candy corn. A lot of people hate it.
Yeah.
I like 2/3 of it, so I always bite the 2/3 that. Well, I mean, I'm talking about like
All the same flavor, dog.
no,
Yeah.
dude. Each layer is a different, delectable,
I think
delicious
traditional
bite.
candy
What?
corn is all the same flavor.
No, are you guys crazy?
What
Are
kind
you
of candy
crazy?
corn
What?
is
Each
it?
different
Brain
color
outta
is a
here. It's
different
all the same
flavor.
flavor.
Is there like a
dog.
special Mexican candy corn that we
What
don't know
Baisa
about?
candy corn are you getting, dude?
First of all, you
Okay.
all fuck off. There's each point is a different flavor. Look it up. Look it up while we're talking.
I mean, maybe
about
because
other
I
stuff.
never nibbled like the tip.
You just took the whole thing in.
I mean, it's just a little piece of candy.
You never
corn,
nibbled
dude.
the tip. You just swallow.
I'm not
You
eating
gotta try
candy
just the
corn
tip,
layer
apparently.
by layer.
It's been so long, I can't even remember what point I don't like. I think it's the white part I don't like. I don't know.
All right. Well, we have the official Google search here that says, though some have conducted taste tests that claim otherwise, candy corn is made of the same ingredients all the way through. So the 3 sections taste identical.
I don't know what your place here on this podcast, Christian, but like week after week, I'm liking you less and less. Critiquing my shit.
Uh,
All right.
Well,
Dude,
I like
are those
I like
pumpkins?
the-
No on the pumpkins.
no pumpkins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't much like the pumpkin ones.
It's
I
the
like the
same thing
caramel
as-
apple suckers. That's
Oh,
about it.
those are good.
Dude, me and my wife buy
Those are
those
good.
every year. They're fucking great.
They're great. They're the
You know
only
they're made
ones
by
I
Tootsie
can't have
Roll?
candy. Oh no, I did not know that.
Yeah, they're made by Tootsie Roll.
So
Yeah, I can't really have candy, but that I'll make an except. I'll have one of those.
So life goals here. Everybody has the whole fucking thing. Down the street they're giving away full candy bars. Like everybody had that, like 1 or 2 houses that give full candy bars. Life goal is to be that house. So this year, I'd be happy to announce we are giving away full Reese's Pieces and full Snickers, like full on candies, and we would have about 100 to give out, but Mr. Effin Sweet came over here, got high, and ate like 7 of our candy bars. That motherfucker.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds about right.
In one
At this
sitting,
point,
guys.
shame on you guys for letting him in. Like,
Like I'm a glutton. I've eaten a whole pizza. Like I've eaten crazy amounts of food. I've never eaten 2 candy bars in a row, let alone 7. 7 candy bars in a row. All right. I'm done. I'm done with this episode, I think. I can't even wrap my mind around eating 7 candy bars.
Halloween candy. That's what did him in.
LRDE Bourgeois asks.
You know who that
My
is?
wife.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Okay.
But I've never read that name out loud.
Oh.
So
All my friends call her Lord Bourgeon.
Oh, that's pretty good.
okay, that sounds right. Do you have a Halloween tradition?
Well, I never did, other than going out way too, like, you get to a certain age, you're like, should I be out here? Like, my costume doesn't fit. I'm 15. Like, I feel really awkward. That, I think everybody goes through that. But I didn't until I moved into this house, and, Sam and her family, they do the Dia de los Muertos like altar to those
the ofrenda.
we've lost recently, and I'll say this every year this comes up, I will talk about it because I think it needs to be adopted. Like it is probably after the food, probably the best thing about Mexico. Like thinking about those who have recently passed, like putting
It's
a
not even
day
recently
for it.
either.
Putting a day for it. Yeah, just putting some bright colors and putting pictures, and you're like, 'cause you
Things that
can't-
they liked.
Yeah,
Things that you like together. All
it's
kinds of
it's
stuff
great.
like that.
It's
Yeah,
great.
it's like
Dude, you know at Disneyland they have, so it's actually really it made me cry when I saw it on Instagram. But in Disneyland, there's Cars World, right? There's no Coco World. There's nothing like that. But Coco is one of Disney's best selling and best performing movies in the past 5 years. In Cars World, in the little mechanic shop, they have an ofrenda to one of the characters that dies in Cars.
Mm.
Well, not only that, but they have an ofrenda where you can put up pictures and notes of your own to people that you want to remember. And it's in Disneyland. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. I feel like Coco really popularized the ofrenda. Like that, I think that kind of put it on a lot of people's radar. But of course, living in San Diego, I was always aware of it. But it is nice because a lot of times, somebody passes away, you have a funeral, you move on with your life, and maybe you go back and visit them, but like visit the gravesite. But for the most part, like you kind of forget about people, and it's
Yeah.
just like a
Out of
yearly
sight, out of
check-in.
mind.
Yeah. So it is kind of nice to have that yearly check-in just to
and-
remember people.
Bobby, you haven't been in my living room, but Albert's on my ofrenda this year, and I have
nice.
the hell picture of him. Even though we like,
Zaya sent us one. Sent us a picture.
yeah,
of
he
him.
did, but I put up what I had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good tradition. For me, it's a lot of scary movies. I find that there's two that it's not Halloween until I watch these two movies. One of them is called Trick or Treat. It's from 2007. It's an anthology movie. There's several different stories that all kind of tie into each other. And it's just, I think, the most accessible, scary / Halloween movie for people. It's got a little bit of gore, a little bit of jump scares. It's got like a little bit of everything that I think makes it well-rounded.
What about for a 10-year-old, Bobby?
No, not for a 10-year-old.
Okay.
But the other one that it kind of snuck up on me. Like this movie, I just started watching it every Halloween. I didn't realize until years later. It's Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, and it came out like 2010. But I highly recommend that one. It's a horror comedy, and it's pretty smart and clever, but low budget, and it's just really well made. It's got Alan Tudyk, who is amazing. You may not recognize that name, but you 100% know who that person is. Like he's just in everything, and he's always fantastic.
It's a good movie to show a 10-year-old, Emilio? American Werewolf in Paris.
That movie was recently on How Did This Get Made, too. I got to watch that now.
We just watched. Well, they watched Hocus Pocus 2 last night, and they loved it. Sam was scared to watch it because she loved the first one so much, and second one, I guess, is really good. And by the way, hats off to Bette Midler. She's like 80 years old, killing the game out there. Like,
Awesome.
good for you. Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
My holiday tradition is, and like this is like started like 4 or 5 years ago, is just playing video games, like scary video games with my friends, and it's usually Phasmophobia or something else like it. That's what it is now. So like me and Leslie at least 4 times a week since October started. It's like we're bothering my friends. Like, anyone want to play Phasmophobia? Anyone want? If you don't play, we'll play by ourselves. We don't care. But you want to play? Come join us. Like
Nice.
every fucking day.
It's awesome, dude.
Yeah, for me, mine is a little bit of a mix of what Nick and Emilio you were talking about. I also create an altar as well, and it's kind of to honor my dad, and I also will like do like a tarot card reading, and then I always play Friday the 13th at some point, or try to, because that game is hilarious. It's bad, and that's what makes it great. So, and so yeah, I'll try and play that, or like Phasmophobia would be good. Just a few spoopy games, not a ton, but a few of them.
Man, I really hope I'm able to join you guys tonight.
Yeah, I'll be up then. I'll be up at 11 my time.
Cool.
All
What's
right.
next?
A few more questions here. Warconius asks, or says, name some games from when you were 18. For me, Command and Conquer and Dark Forces were my jam. We must be about the same age, because that's probably what I was playing around that age. I think I was a little bit younger.
You want to hear some bangers from 2010? Mass Effect 2, Call of Duty Black Ops, Red Dead Redemption, God of War 3, Halo Reach, StarCraft 2, Battlefield Bad Company
Jesus,
2,
what a fucking
Super
year.
Meat Boy, Fallout New Vegas, fucking Gran Turismo 5. There's a couple of other bangers in there. Metro 2033, World of Warcraft Cataclysm, changed the whole fucking game up. Too bad it dropped in November. And the list just goes
What
on
a
and on.
year,
2010 was a
man.
fucking smash year.
Fuck.
BioShock 2,
Yep.
Civ 5.
Christian, can you do the math for me? I was born in 1978. Add 18 to that. What would that be?
That'd be 95.
God damn. Okay, what came out in 95? I'm
Wow.
pretty sure it was like EverQuest.
Mario Tennis. Oh, good.
2? Jesus Christ. EverQuest 2? Was it EverQuest? I mean, EverQuest?
Dude, Donkey Kong 2, Mega Man 7, Star Wars Dark Forces, Mortal Kombat 3,
No, I ain't playing any of
Chrono
those.
Trigger,
Yeah, I played
Chrono
Chrono
Trigger
Trigger and I
was
played
95.
Warcraft 2,
Yeah.
Rayman,
I'm pretty sure I was playing EverQuest, but I can't confirm.
Mech Warrior 2. Hell yeah.
Bullshit
For
year.
me.
You had an odd. How could you not be a gamer with that kind of year, dude?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and my year was just the year before, in 2009, and that was Resident Evil 5, Batman Arkham, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which is what I played the most of at 18, Dragon Age Origins, also played a lot of that, Assassin's Creed 2, Uncharted 2, Borderlands came out then, which is cool, Left 4 Dead 2, shout out to that, hell yeah, that was a good time too. Yeah, there was quite a lot
God,
of
we're
them,
so-
like
Those
the
are the
dumb
Wii
one,
days.
Angry Birds.
We're so much older than you guys.
Yeah, different times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you got, Bobby?
For when I was 18, that would have been 2001. What?
Grand Theft Auto
Space
3,
Odyssey?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3.
Yeah, I
Metal
remember a
Gear
lot
Solid
of
2,
Grand Theft Auto, GTA.
Super Smash Brothers Melee. Oh my
Your
god.
headphones are on.
That sounds like Emilio had the worst year.
Yeah, Emilio sucks.
Yeah.
Reject Emilio
I
out
mean,
of the
well,
spaceport.
gaming was pretty rough back in the 90s. We didn't have a lot to work with, but we still had a great time.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Warconius. Favorite sexy Halloween costume? Worst or most disastrous Halloween party you've been to? I don't know if I've been to any disastrous Halloween parties.
I've been to one. I've been to one where the house was almost lit on fire.
What?
Yeah, I was like 16 and I snuck out of my parents' house. I went over like the cool kids' house, right? And somebody decided to smoke some cigarettes and they threw it. You guys remember the Snuggie? There was
Of
like a
course.
wearable blanket. Well, they were also essentially napalm in sheet form because they just instantly lit on fire. Yeah, and someone threw a cigarette and it almost burned down the house.
Yeah, that's pretty disastrous.
But as far as favorite sexy Halloween costume, either Baywatch or Playboy Bunny, either one. There you go.
Yeah, are these costumes that you've worn or just ones that you see?
Oh, dude, I wear Baywatch every day. No,
Oh, okay.
the whole
Yeah.
one-piece swimsuit, so you can see my body bounce.
Nice. There you go.
What about you guys?
For me, I also have not been to like a disastrous Halloween party. I've been to a boring one, and even then, it wasn't that brutal because they still had Rock Band on a projector. So I was like, sign me up. Favorite sexy Halloween costume. One that I've worn was Lilith. I went as Lilith one year, and that was a really good one. And then that I've seen probably. If you were to dress up as like a dominatrix, yeah, that would probably do it.
Dresses
Or
up as a
somebody, I
character
should
from
say.
Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
Oh no, big vampire mommy's here.
Or
I guess I'm gonna
dressed up
die.
like Elvira, that'll do it. Yeah.
Me and my
Just-
wife were talking about Elvira. We're like, what was the point of it?
Her
Sex.
was the
huge
show?
tits. That's all it was.
Tits, yeah.
Well, yeah, she wasn't funny. Like that's all it was. Well, she was attractive.
She wasn't funny.
she was like a emo. Yeah, proto emo. Yeah, she had a thing
It's like
going
a
on.
succubus, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a monster.
Yeah. I guess they're rebooting the Munsters. I don't know if it's a
Oh,
TV show or a
God.
movie.
That trailer was getting slammed pretty hard.
I can't do it.
All right. Emilio, favorite sexy Halloween costume or worst or most disastrous Halloween party you've been to?
So I went out with my girlfriend at the time, and she was going as a Freudian slip. So she wore a slip, and she put all of his theories like as little stickers on her. So she had things like penis envy as like a post-it note on her, and so the guys were looking at her wearing a slip, and it said penis envy on her, and we're downtown, and she was getting a lot of attention, like a lot. She had a crazy little body. So it was like, I'm not a jealous guy at all. Like I don't care at all. But it was like so distracting all night. Like, whoa, penis! You want? Guys had no idea what the fuck. Like completely lost on almost everybody that it was a Freudian slip. Like. Yeah. Some smart people were like, "Hey, that's clever," but most guys were just like, "You want some cock?" You know.
That's pretty much downtown San Diego on a weekend.
Yeah.
That I can vouch for that. I used to work down there.
Speaking of which, there's a thing on Reddit. This was Reddit post that says, "This is what happens when you choose your shooting location as a frat party." So, if they were trying to film a porn at a frat party, a real frat, like this is not a stage. The guy's trying to have sex on the pool table, and they're like, random dudes are like using his balls as like a punching bag, like and they're like, bro, like I'm trying to shoot here, and they're just like, whatever, man. They're just a bunch of drunken fucking 18-year-olds. Like, how are you gonna possibly do anything professional? And so they all walked out, and the whole thing was canceled. It's a great little video. Anyway. I think it was close to what I was talking about. I don't know how that came up.
I don't know how we got there.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Tattooed Terror. Last question. For one night, you have to play a couch co-op game with one famous movie monster. Who are you picking? What game are you playing, and why?
I'm playing with Dracula. We're playing Phasmophobia, and the reason why is that I think I can convince him to turn me into a vampire.
By the end of the night. You're like, well,
oh yeah, I think I can just seduce him. That's fine.
That's pretty good.
I'm gonna play with Elvira, and I'm gonna play Amnesia because I'm not gonna make it far in there, and I'll just hide in her tits when I get scared.
There you go. Oh my God, that's the Bram Stoker's Dracula with the bun hair.
It was so strange.
Oh, weird. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for this. Creature from the Black Lagoon, and we're playing Subnautica, maybe?
Dude, you took,
man.
Good one. That's a good one.
took my fucking, not my game, but you took my creature.
I was gonna pick that creature too, and I was like, I feel like somebody else is gonna pick that creature.
Dude, you're
'cause
just
it's
gonna have so much
iconic.
mold in your
Yeah.
house. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'll put down a towel.
A standard, like a 3 standard zombies playing Left 4 Dead with me. They're gonna be dead weight, but you know, whatever.
See what you did.
Just for the atmosphere.
Well, they're not gonna eat you because you don't even have a brain, so you're fine.
Hey, from
Hey-o.
downtown.
Savage.
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 All right, I think that's a show, guys. What do you think? Yeah, I had a good time.
Yep, good times. What's everybody playing next week?
Phasmophobia.
Well, I said
And
that
Marauders.
I said that I was going to play a Plague Tale, but I'm like, I can't have too much more God of War. Turns out God of War is so long. I mean, so long, but I'm enjoying it. I'm having a really good time with it, actually. So, yeah, more God of War for sure. And then maybe Plague Tale if I finish it, but I don't think I'm close.
All right. Possibly Phasmophobia for me, but I'm actually really interested in Across the Obelisk.
Yeah, cool. I'll play it with you.
Nice.
Days,
Amanda?
what about you?
For me, it's probably gonna be
Tarkov.
Phasmophobia, Friday the 13th, and you know
Tarkov.
Tarkov. Yeah.
Dude, play with Marauders with me, man. Come on.
Christian, what are you
Make
playing?
honest with us. Be
What-
casual.
How much is Marauders? What's the tag on that?
29
29.
sprinkles.
Okay.
Christian, what are you playing these days?
Oh, guys. Yeah, I can't talk about it because it's disgusting.
Oh,
Do you guys want to hear?
Victoria 3,
Is
right?
it Europa 3 or whatever the fuck it's called?
Oh,
Victoria 3?
dude. I can't stop thinking about Chile. I can't stop thinking about the Chilean people. It's 1906. A game is till 1936, 1825 to 1936, I believe.
I'm so bored already.
And okay, but wait. When I finish this, also shut the fuck up. And when I finish this, I'm gonna uninstall the game because it's too addicting. Like I've only done this to a handful of games before, but I can't have a normal life. Like I'm in work meetings, but I'm really running Chile. It's bad.
Dude,
So,
I only just realized right now that there's a person behind you. That's how still she is. What is she playing?
I think she's playing Hades. Yeah.
On a mouse and keyboard? What a savage, dude.
Yeah.
What a savage.
500 hours in that game at least, maybe 550. I haven't checked recently.
Nick,
but-
you have an adult child. Look at her.
Say hi. Say hi.
She's
Nope.
scared of the mic.
Scared of the
Shy.
mic. She's gun shy.
All right.
Gosh, she looks like she's 5, dude. Wow. All right.
Only 2.
So we talked about Death Trash. It's a post-apocalyptic game. Dark and Darker. It's a play for keeps that has a medieval twist. Stalker Anomaly. Check it. Well, is that what? No. Anomaly with the Gamma mod on top of it is the bee's knees. Vade Retro. Weird French stuff. GTFO. It's a great game if you can find people to play with or if you can connect each other. Across the Obelisk. It's a co-op deck building game. When's that ever happened? Marauders. A lot of stuff, and somehow it works. And Escape from Tarkov. I'm tired of explaining this game. Speaking for... Jeez, I can't think of... Were you Bertha the deer? What was it?
Thelma.
Thelma the deer.
Thelma.
A PlayStation 2. A beekeeper.
Bertha?
A guy who doesn't...
Bertha.
A guy who doesn't like to wear fucking costumes. And El Luchador Mexicano. Thank you for listening. And Halloween titties. Spooky titties.
Hot topic titties.
Thanks for hanging out, Recycle. Thanks for putting every comment in our entire chat. Nobody else wanted to talk.